Hey y'all, it's Friday. Does that mean anything anymore? I don't know. In lockdown, I don't know if it means anything anymore. Um, but it's Friday. It's a good day for a love spell, and I'll tell you why. One of my viewers asked me if I would do a video on a love spell, and I decided to make this video today to share with you a love spell based on something I did years ago. Um, and I'm going to tell you why today's good for a love spell. Number one, today's Friday, and Friday is associated with Venus. And as we all know, Venus is the goddess of love. The planet Venus in astrology is associated with love, but it's also associated with money and prosperity. Just think about it. When you love somebody, when you're wooing somebody, you buy them things, nice things, jewelry, chocolate. You might take them out to a nice restaurant. So to get that love, sometimes you need that money to woo someone. Um, Also, the moon is new right now, and a new moon is good for initiating things, drawing things to you, because each night until the moon is going to grow. So whatever you're working for, you want it to grow with the moon. Um, Also, the moon is in Taurus right now, and Taurus uh, is a planet which is ruled by Venus. I said Taurus was a planet. It's a sign. I'm sorry. Taurus is a sign which is ruled by the planet Venus. So this is a very good day for love. Now I'm going to tell you another little secret real quick. I wrote this in uh, one of my upcoming projects, and I haven't shared this anywhere yet. So when you're doing spells and magic and you're looking at the moon phase, and a lot of people also look at the moon sign, because the moon's in the head, the moon's in the chest, the moon's in the knees. But if you don't get all that, what you can do is look at the element associated with that sign. For example, like I said, the moon is in Taurus right now. That's an earth sign. And you can do that type of elemental magic to harness that energy. So let's say if the moon's in a fire sign, you might work with candles and candle magic. When the moon's in an earth sign, you might work with talismans, dirts, things of that nature. When the moon is in an air sign, you'll work with mantras, affirmations, incense, things of that nature. And finally, when the moon's in a water sign, you might work with spiritual waters, spiritual baths, washes, things of that nature. So the moon is in an earth sign, and I associate earth with talismans like mojo bags, working sigils, things of that nature. But I also associate earth magic with um, what is known as voodoo dolls or doll babies, because the earth of my body, like the fire is your spirit, the water is your emotions, the air is your intelligence, and your words, the earth of your body. So this is going to be a love spell that uses a voodoo doll or a doll baby. And it's going to be a spell that you work from over several days, going from new moon towards the full moon. And I'll let you break it up exactly how you do it. But I'm going to describe a general outline for you to follow. So the first thing you're going to want is a red candle and some incense. I didn't grab any incense to show you. Y'all know what incense looks like. Now the candle and the incense is just really window dressing. It's going to be something you put on your altar or your workspace just to sort of set the mood. But you're going to still fix this candle. So on the front of this candle, you're going to carve, and make sure you get a long one, because you're going to be burning this candle a little bit each night over several nights. Don't use some little one, unless you've got a bunch of little ones and you'll make a new candle each day. But what you're going to do is you're going to write your name, carve your name on the front of this candle. So for me, I might write Carolina Dean. And then I'm going to flip it. So like now here where it says Carolina Dean on the back, on the opposite, I'm going to write my goal. So I might write my lover, or my perfect lover, or whatever have you, however you want to say it. So you're going to take this candle, mark it, and then you're going to dress it with a little bit of oil. Now, If you are straight, you might want to use something like Come to Me oil, or maybe even Dixie Love. If you are gay, you might want to use Lavender Love Drops. If you are bisexual, and I am not bisexual, so I don't know, and you have no preference one way or another where you want to draw a man or a woman, you might want to use something a little open-ended like Venus oil. If you're bisexual and you're more interested in a man over a woman, you can use your choice of Come to Me, Dixie Love, or Lavender Love, depending on the gender you may be in the mood to attract at the moment. Okay? So you're going to do that on your first day. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna get you a pattern for a doll, and you can get these offline. Now, I have a bunch of patterns here. I got all kinds of patterns. Look at all these patterns. But you're gonna get you a pattern, and what I did was I printed this out on regular typing paper, and then I cut it out and I put it on, I think a manila file folder because it's thicker. And this will stand up more, so this is what I use. So, and then you're going to get you some red felt. I like felt because when you put it up against itself, it doesn't have a tendency to slip or move. It kind of stays in place. And when you cut it, as you can see, it doesn't really fray. So I like working with felt to make dolls. So the first night, what you're going to do is you're going to put that pattern. I should have used a bigger piece of paper, but you know what I mean. You're going to put that pattern on your felt, and you're going to trace that onto 2 different pieces of cloth, right? But you're going to do it slow. Oh, I forgot. Light your candle, light your incense, then trace. And as you trace this, you're going to do it slowly and deliberately, and you're going to think about the type of lover that you want to draw to yourself. You know, do I want someone tall and attractive? Do I want someone short, petite, who's a good cook? You know, do I want someone who is more outgoing, or more so someone who's a homebody? So you're going to think about what they look like, what their personality is like, and the things you're going to do together. And when you're done tracing that pattern on that cloth, you're going to slowly and deliberately cut that out, that shape out of that cloth. And then you're going to have 2 pieces of cloth in the shape of your doll baby. But at that point, you're going to stop. You're going to stop, leave your materials on your altar, snuff out your candle. The next night, you might light your candle and incense, and then you're going to maybe put a face on the front of your doll. You might put 2 eyes, a nose, a little mouth. You can do this with buttons. You can do this with a marker, depending on what you use, or you can stitch it. I'm going to show you. Here's a doll I made a long time ago for something, but here's one I put 2 eyes on with buttons, and you can see it's sort of a vaguely human shape. Also, oh, this reminds me, I'm going to break a minute and tell you something. I had this lady email me on Instagram, and she wanted to show me her doll baby she made. And it was a nice little doll, sort of looked like this, vaguely human shape, and had 2 eyes. And I said, well, that's a nice looking little doll. What is it for? And she said, well, that's my love doll. That's the doll I'm gonna get me a man with. And I said, girl, where is his mouth? You got to give that doll a mouth. There's so many wonderful things a lover can do with their mouth. You know, you want them to be able to kiss you and love on you. Well, I must have hurt her feelings. I didn't mean to, but she blocked me. So anyway, the point here is give your damn doll a mouth, especially if it's a love doll. If it's an enemy that you don't want talking about you or gossiping about you, don't give it a mouth. But give your love doll a mouth. So anyway, you're going to, like I said, you're going to decorate your doll, give it a face, and then you're going to snuff out your candle. And then the next day, you're going to take your 2 pieces of paper, your 2 pieces of cloth. These don't match, but then you're going to put them together, and you're going to pin them together. And as you're doing this, remember, I want you to think about what your lover looks like. What is their personality like? What are you going to do together? Each night you're going to focus on this as you're doing these things. So you're going to take your two pieces of cloth, pin them together. Now let's say this is the front and that's the back for this illustration. This is a little sewing secret I learned on my own. It may be common sense, but I had to learn it the hard way. When you pin these two pieces of cloth together, pin it from the back. So let's say this is the back on front. I don't have a pin here. I would pin the doll together, because what's going to happen is if you pin it from the front, when you go to sew this thing and that pin stuck through there, at some point your thread is going to catch on that damn pin right there and you're going to have to wiggle it out. So I learned to pin it from the back, and then I don't have that problem. So again, that night you're pinning the dolls together, and then you're going to snuff out your candle until the next night. And so the next night, you got your doll, you're going to light your candle and your incense, you got your dolls pinned together. Now is where you're going to maybe start sewing it, okay? Now, depending on how well you sew, how much time you have, and how big your pattern is, because say something like this is smaller than something like that. That's a big ass doll there. And then I have, you know, even a smaller pattern. This is the pattern here that I use to make this doll here. So this is even smaller than this. So it goes by how long is it going to take you to sew this around. But I do suggest you break it up. So maybe this night, you don't want to start exactly right here, because you're going to have to leave, at some point you're going to have to leave a gap for stuff in your doll. And I'm going to show you, what I do to where I actually sew it all the way around. So let's say one night you start here and you sew it all the way around to here, the crotch. That's roughly halfway. If you're not a good sewer, you don't have a lot of time, maybe you'll break this up in fourths and you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, like I said, you're going to leave a little gap. If you don't want to do that, I don't leave the gap. What I do is I sew it all the way around. And then what I do is I sort of pull, like imagine this is two pieces of cloth sewed together. I sort of pull it apart a little bit, and I cut a line down the back of the doll, and then I use that for stuffing, and then I sew that up. I actually have a doll I was going to show you, but you can see right here, that's where I cut a line in the doll, stuffed it, and then sewed it up. I'm going to tell you another secret when it comes to stuffing it. What I do is, when I do it, I start at the out and work your way inward. I know that's probably common sense, and then you can just kind of fiddle with it and get it where you want to. So anyway, over the course of the next couple of nights, you're just going to sew this doll together, and you're going to leave your gap, or you're going to cut your thing, however you want to do it. Now when you come to that, you're going to light your candle and incense again, and you're going to take your doll, and you're going to stuff it with cotton or bunting, whatever you want to use. And again, you're thinking about your lover. What do they look like? What's their personality like? What are we going to do together? And then you're going to snuff out your candle and leave your stuff on the altar. Then the next night, you got your doll here. It's got the cotton in it. You still got this hole. This is where you're going to put your herbs and roots in it. And what you use is up to you. You can do your own little research, but you might want to do Queen Elizabeth root for love, drawing, maybe cinnamon sugar to spice things up, maybe Damiana for good sex, what have you. Then you're going to, again, think about your lover. When you're done, you're going to sew up that gap, right? Wherever you left it, you're going to sew up that gap and your doll's done. But you can skip the next step, but if you want to, you can take your doll, put hair on him if you want to, or her if you want to, maybe, and give it clothes. Sometimes I put clothes on these dolls here, but I didn't do it. I made this last night as an example for you guys. Here's another type of doll I've learned to make. Ain't that nice? Anyway, so now you got your doll, right? He's all sewn up and everything. And what you're going to do is the next night, and this is going to be your final night. On the final night, you're going to light your candle and your incense. You're going to take your doll, dress it with a little bit of whatever oil you chose, whether it was lavender love, Venus, come to me, and you're gonna, put a little oil on his face and tell him how beautiful his face is, or her face. Put a little oil on her chest, the arms, the legs, admire it. Tell the doll how beautiful it is and how much you love it and how much you want that lover in your life. And then what you're going to do is when you're done, you're going to smoke that doll in your incense and you're going to say, "This is my lover." And then you're going to explain the qualities of your lover. You might say, "My lover is tall and athletic. My lover is loving and kind. My lover has a good job and his own car. My lover is generous with his time and money. My lover is a good cook. My lover loves to dance." Whatever it is you're looking for a lover, you're going to say these things. And when you're done, you're going to say, "And my lover will come to me now as quickly as possible in a natural way. My lover will be a loving companion for me to share my days and nights with forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen." And so when you're done with that, you're going to take your doll and you're going to wrap it in some kind of cloth, like maybe a handkerchief or that little crepe paper you get sometimes when you buy a fancy shirt. And you're going to put that doll by your bedside or on your love altar or wherever, and just wait for your lover to come to you. Now, every once in a while, if you want to, maybe once a week like a mojo bag, or once a month when the moon is new, if they haven't come around yet, you can take this doll back out, smoke it in the incense, and say, "This is my lover. My lover is tall and athletic. My lover is loving and kind." Whatever it is you say. And anyway, take that doll, focus on it, hold it in your hand like a focus tool. Feel it, smell the oil on it. If you, like me, I love cool water. I like cologne. You might spray your doll with a little bit of cologne if you like cologne in the gender or perfume, so that, smell really evokes a sense of arousal and whatnot, and that'll help put power into your spell. So anyway, hold your doll. If you want to, you can light a candle and just focus on, what my lover looks like, what his personality is like, the things I want to do with him or her. And then let your candle burn out, put your doll away. That's how you're going to work with your doll. Eventually, you will meet someone. You just have to be patient. For some of you, it will happen quicker. For some of you, it may take more time. But eventually, you will meet someone and you will have your lover. So anyway, that is a hoodoo love spell that I've shared with you today. And I hope you all the success in the world casting it. And let me know how it works out for you. Have a great day, everyone.